Hello and welcome to the It's Your Effing Journey podcast. My name is Melissa Hemming, and if a life coach and a therapist had a baby, you get me. Welcome to the It's Your Effing Journey podcast. Wow, I just said that. Okay. It's the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, so I am so excited for a couple days off, for family time, for lots of running, like lots of music bingo. I'm just really excited for this weekend and I'm ready for it. And that might be why I'm repeating myself. I'm also so excited because there's a lot going on in my little brain. So there's always a lot going on in my brain, but this particular moment, this day, this week, this time, I am really fucking fired up about my future. And I was trying to think about this, like, why have I just been like sailing and accepting and playing small, to be quite honest. And I really think that has a lot to do with my mental health this year. And in a lot of ways, I've done so much growing individually and uniquely, but also I feel like professionally and in my business, I've been a little stuck. And it's time to get the fuck out of there and to level up. And, one of my favorite things to do when I work with people is I love helping people in their businesses. And I love helping them, push outside their comfort zones and see their blind spots and see how their, the ways that they're stuck is impacting their businesses. And I'm thinking of one person in particular, and it's been so much fun to see her to get out of where she is and to really put her energy into the best use of her time and to work with the people that fire her up, that excite her. And I literally had that thought yesterday as I was looking at the day ahead of me. Like there are certain people and certain sessions that I have that I leave and I'm like, hell yeah, like we worked, we got somewhere, I'm helping them to move forward. And I hate to say that it comes back to like a financial investment, but I've just seen this for so long. For the last 10 years, I've seen this, how when you level up, when you invest in yourself, you just take it so much more seriously. You don't want to lose out on your investment. When you have skin in the game, it makes a difference. And I've played with this, and this is also something that I've had to come to terms with, is that I also don't want, like, I know what my skill set is. I know what I bring to the table in terms of the work that I do, but I also don't want to price people out, and I don't want to overcharge, if that makes sense. If you don't follow Colleen Nichols, she's somebody that I was in her direct sales growth community for a long time. And she's someone that I really respect in terms of running a business and owning a business and, being really authentic in the business that she has. And, one of the things that she talks very openly about is the fact that a lot of coaches overcharge. And I don't want to be that kind of person. However, I'm being undervalued now, and that I'm drawing my line in the sand now. So am I looking to replace all of my income from the sources that I have currently? Yes, I am. Because I realized the other day that Talkspace is paying me less than it has been. And your girl, that's not good. It's not good for any reason. I have a lot of fucking travel plans next year. I'm a single mom of 3 kids, 1 in college, 1 on their way to college. And I've got shit that I want to do. And I've got a business that I want to run. And more importantly than any of that and any of the money, it's the energy. It's me logging in. Like right now, we're recording a podcast. I am fired up. I log in to press record and I'm ready to fucking go because I love to do this. And I want to feel like that about every single session that I open my computer to. I want to log in and feel energized and feel your energy and know that when you log in, you are also ready to grow. 2 people yesterday logged in in like not even in a environment where they were ready to have a therapy session. And I was just like, what the fuck am I doing? I am better than this. I should have people who are logging in, sitting down, ready to fucking work with me, because that's the vibe that I bring. So for me to log in and like be like messing with someone about their internet connection because they're logging in when they're picking up their nieces from school, that's not it. That's not it. I deserve your undivided attention because you value the session that is happening right now. So without further ado, I'm going to share with you, and I have to pull it up because I should have had this already when I pressed record, but I was just so excited to get going. Okay, so let's do this because I just made a post about this yesterday. And the reason I'm so grateful, this person messaged me the other day and said, what exactly do you do? Are you a health coach? And I'm like, oh my God. I realize that my roles have changed a little bit since social media started, but I also feel really passionately that the people who follow me should know what the fuck I do. So that was when I was like, okay, I'm not a health coach anymore. I don't do programming. I never had any fitness certifications. I work out because I believe in the impact of working out on your mental health. What I am is a running coach, although I don't do running coaching. I just did that so I could open my run walk therapy practice. But I am a therapist and a life coach. You guys may know this better than any of the people on social media because I say it every week. If a life coach and a therapist had a baby, you get me. I am able to, so like when you think of a life coach, and there's a lot of fucking, annoying beliefs about life coaching, which I try my best to dispute. I don't just have the life coaching skills. I also have years of therapy experience. So I can really help you to get to where you want to go. In therapy, I always considered myself a solution-focused therapist, which means I do a lot less focusing on the background or the trauma or, how you grew up and all of that stuff. However, I'm totally able to do that. So if there is a roadblock in your way of moving you forward to where you want to go, I am equipped to handle that in a way that a life coach is not. A life coach doesn't have mental health background. They have their life coaching skills that they've developed, and that's fucking fantastic. I love life coaches. I also love therapists, but I also know that a lot of therapists aren't solution focused. So I can't tell you how many people come to me and they're like, my therapist didn't give me any tools. We just talked. And I'm like, whoa. So I am the best of both worlds. I sort of can pick up where both of those skill sets lack, and I've got them. So, okay, and I totally distracted myself. So what I'm offering, at first I was offering a 3-month, 6-month, or 12-month track. I really don't like that. And it didn't feel super aligned. And I was like, I wrote this email that introduced that. And this is how I do business, guys. Like, I'm just all over the place. And this is why you love me, hopefully. Perfectly imperfect. But, as a business owner, you can change direction at any time. So literally 12 hours later, I was like, I don't like what I just sent to my people. I need to do something different. So what I'm doing is bundling sessions. And because I really feel like this is a great way to promote this business of mine, because I really believe in making it work for you. It doesn't have to be that you're meeting someone weekly. I was talking to a friend recently and they were like, they should be in weekly therapy. And I'm like, well, that's really dependent on the person. There's something to be said for starting out weekly, but there's also, if you are a crazy person and you have a busy schedule, like my friend Brooke, who also often compares her life to swirling in a toilet bowl, because she's a kindergarten teacher and it's just crazy. Life is crazy. If you don't know how you could fit in a weekly session, then you pick the 3 sessions that I'm offering and you do them monthly. And I mean, I wouldn't do anything sort of less than that, because I do believe in the accountability of putting things into place, putting practices into place, putting tools into place, and then having the accountability to back that up so that you make that a habit. So I'm offering 3 sessions for $675, or 6 sessions for $1,200. And that breaks it down a little bit more per session. but I want to offer these so that you can go into this next year with a plan and me to help you and to be in your corner. So I'm super, super excited to bring back one-on-ones. I literally want to eliminate taking any new clients on Talkspace. So what this means is that I really want my business to be centered around these sessions and helping you with your breakthrough. I'm also doing a Black Friday sale for It's Your Effin' Breakthrough. I'm offering another round of that starting in January. And the Black Friday deal is $199 for 3 weeks of an intensive journal program, and it's weekly group coaching calls. So that is 2 deals that is happening. And actually, I think I said that they were ending on this Sunday, which means you're late. But because this is how I do business, I'm going to extend it for you guys. My podcast people get an extension. So I'll give you guys the week of this first week of December to lock in those prices, especially the Black Friday deal. The session deal is just going to continue right now until I feel the need to change that. But right now, that's what we're going to do. I think that is the best bang for your buck. And it helps me level the fuck up and you too. So that's what we're going to do. So actually, the same new listener that asked me if I was a health coach, she also sent me a question last week. She said she's a new podcast listener, and I fucking love that people are, finding the podcast, and I love the people that share it weekly. I just can't appreciate you enough. And I've been getting such kind messages about, what my content on social media has meant to people and what the podcast has meant to people. And it just warms my little soul right up. So I appreciate you. Okay. So what did she say? Okay. So she said, oh, it's in a voice memo, so I can't really tell you that. But she said that she started listening to my podcast and she had a question for me about because she's in her 20s. She said to me, what would you tell yourself in your 20s that you know now? Or what would you tell someone else who's 20 in their 20s that you know now? And I loved this question. And I was like, I'm definitely going to do a whole podcast episode about this because there's so many things that I would tell myself in my 20s. However, I do think that regardless of what age you are and whatever age you're looking back upon, I do think that there's so much to be said for just following the path that you're on and trusting you're on the right path for yourself. So I'm not somebody that believes in regret because I know that everything that I've done, every stupid thing, every bad thing, every wonderful thing that I've done has led me to be this person now. And I truly believe that I wouldn't be her unless I had gone through what I had gone through. So I think that the number one thing I would tell Melissa in her 20s is that, oh God, that it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay no matter what, because you are capable, and you're strong, even if you don't feel like that, because you don't even know what's to come. And I think that is the main lesson, is first of all, trusting that it's going to be okay, trusting you're going to have what it takes to come out on the other side, and also that there's beauty in all of it, even if it doesn't feel like it. I mean, it would be so easy for me to look back and be like, in my 20s, I didn't run. What the fuck was I doing? I was sitting on my couch, eating ice cream every night, drinking wine, and playing Candy Crush. But you know what? That time existed for a reason. That time existed so that I could look back and say, okay, what was I doing? How was I spending my time? What activities was I pouring into? How was I taking care of myself? And how depleted did I feel at the end of the day? And without that time, without those actions, would I even recognize the beauty of movement now and of challenging myself and of, really taking control of my self-care and saying, what do you need, Melissa? How can I be kind to you today? What do you need from me? And there's just so much beauty in all of it, I mean, do I wish? I think when it comes to like regrets, I don't regret anything. I really, really don't. Everything in my life has led me to this point. I think if anything comes up for me, it's my kids, right? Because I think when we are moms or parents, we take on this incredible responsibility of these human beings. And if there's anything that I wish I could do better or wish I could have done better, is be a better mom. And especially when I look at my kids now, I talked about this on the exclusive podcast episode last week, but I think when you're a mom, it's hard not to sometimes beat yourself up or say, I wish I could have done this better. I wish I could have been more aware of this. And, I think if there's any piece of regret, it's me just wishing I had been this kind of mom back then. And I'm not a perfect mom now. There's no fucking way I'm a perfect mom now. There's so much shit that I overlook and don't do or could do. But I think that part of being the mom that I am now is understanding that and giving myself grace and allowing myself to be human and also communicate that I am human to my kids. And I'm pretty sure I've talked about this before, but, when I was little, I thought that adults knew what they were doing. I thought that they knew the answers. I thought that they had it together. And it was one of the biggest crushing realizations when I became an adult that I'm like, wow, these people don't know what the fuck that they're doing. And, that's, I think, one thing that I've been able to provide for my kids is a realistic view of the human experience and that, their mom is not perfect. I never claimed to be. I never will be, but I love them. And I'm proud of that. So, okay, so let's go back. What would I tell? So, okay, I mean, I think it would be remiss to say that I would not, I don't even know if that's the right word, to be quite honest. I think, let's change the wording. I think it would be shocking if movement wasn't part of what I would share with my 20-something Melissa. And but then I'm like, do I really want to tell Melissa to start moving now? Do I want to start telling 26-year-old Melissa to start moving? I don't think that I do. I think that Melissa, so this podcast might even take a crazy little turn, because what would I tell her? What would I tell 26-year-old Melissa? Would I tell her that she's going to become obsessed with moving her body? Maybe I would share that with her. Would I tell her that she absolutely has to start now? No. Because again, all of those steps, all of, like, when I think about like my early days, like my first gym membership was Bally Total Fitness, West Hartford, circa like 1999, maybe. I think that was the year 1999. I went into Bally's. This hot guy gave me a tour. They knew exactly what they were doing, because this guy was like, this is for your health. And I was like, sign me up for my life, my health. I am in, as long as I get to look at you. And I signed up for like a fucking 5-year gym membership, something asinine, something totally asinine. But he was like, it's for your health. And I was like, this is this gorgeous man telling me this is for my health. I am in. And I would literally get on the elliptical for like 10 minutes and then get in my car and have a cigarette. And I think I went 2 times. That was a part of my journey, right? Like, that was a part of my journey. Getting my Wii Fit. And I was like, this is it. This is the year I get in shape. And I would do like my yoga, my tree pose on my Wii Fit. And to this day, I still sometimes like do those poses. And I think about the stability that I gained on that Wii Fit. Did I get in shape that year? Hell no. Did I fucking light up a cigarette every time I popped out a baby? Absolutely. But all of that brought me to the point of saying, like, I mean, if I hadn't had those moments, would I have had that moment of fucking clarity when I sat and watched my oldest daughter run her first 5K alone? Could I have found running sooner? Would it have been just as symbolic? Would it have been just as meaningful? If I did that, would it have changed the trajectory of my marriage? Would I have been done sooner? I don't know. So, I mean, so obviously I'm conflicted. There's so many things that I do wish I guess when I think about what I would tell 26-year-old Melissa, it's to be fucking kind to herself. It's to tell her to trust the process, to trust that even if I'm not feeling satisfied currently, that as long as I keep moving forward and paying attention to myself and being kind to myself, I do think that that's one thing. Because when I was doing that job, maybe not 26, but early 30s, that was when I worked as my first clinical job, and I worked at a nonprofit, and I worked with the Ryan White population, and I also worked with the Department of Corrections. And that was when it wasn't super in line with myself, and it made me feel really bad because I couldn't have passed the drug test, but I didn't have to personally do it, but the clients that I worked with, if they tested positive for marijuana, were sent back to prison. And that felt super unaligned for me. So I think that if there's one thing that I could have benefited from hearing, is that when your actions line up with the life that you're living and you're being a leader, it feels better, right? Like, I sit confidently as fuck in my role of being a therapist and a coach. And I know that I'm not telling my clients to do anything that I personally won't do, right? I don't tell my clients to be sober. I'm not living a sober life. I don't tell my clients to do gratitude. I'm also doing gratitude. I tell them to journal. That's something I do too. Waking up early, managing your time blocking, checking in with yourself, mindfulness, meditation, all of these things, moving your body, are things that I do. So going to therapy, reaching out for help, choosing joy, like the things that I advocate for is the way that I'm living. So I think that when you do embrace imperfection, when you do accept yourself for who you are, accept yourself even for your limitations, accept the journey that you're on, and know that you're moving in the right place as long as you're paying attention to yourself. Those are things that I think I would have told little Melissa. Now, the one that I wrote about the other day, because I was inspired to write a post after she sent me the original message, I thought about this from a societal standpoint. I think that there are so many things. I'm currently working with one of my clients on her feelings about becoming a mom. Becoming a mom was not something that she ever really felt called to do, or something that she felt like she needed to have, or she needed to that she needed in her life. And yet she got married and they had decided to have children. So now they're having a child. And she's really struggling with this because she's not sure that this is necessarily part of what she was meant to do. And I think that that is a really important one for women. I think that, for me, getting married and having a baby, or being a mom, let me just even say being a mom. Being a mom meant everything to me. It meant everything to me. I do think it meant everything to me for the wrong reasons. I don't think that I wanted to be a mom necessarily because of the impact that I thought I could make. I think I wanted to be a mom because I wanted to be loved, and I wanted to be accepted, and I wanted that unconditional feeling. I think there's so much of my adoption and I know I've shared this with you guys in the past, I know there's so much about my adoption that continues to sort of, I'm aware of, and just big holes in my heart and sort of the trauma of it. But I do think that that was why I wanted to be a mom. And that was what I wanted for so long. And it's also part of my story to say, like, when I had Kaylin, I fucking loved that kid. I love that kid so much. But it didn't, and even as connected and bonded as we are and were, she wasn't able to fill that for me, because nobody's able to fill that for you. You have to fill that for yourself. So I think that when it comes to those societal things about becoming a mom or becoming a parent or getting married or buying a house or going to college, I think that that is one thing that we should provide for our young people now, is that there is no right or wrong way to do life. And just because you've seen your cousins and your aunts and your parents get married and have babies and go to college and buy a house, it doesn't necessarily have to be the right life choice for you. And believe me, like, that's the one thing that will never change for me, is that piece of parenting. And I just love my kids so much, and they are the reason that I want to do the things that I do, and that I push myself to be the best person that I can be, so that they can also do that for themselves, and that so they can also question for themselves. Like, this is something that, I talked to Kaylin about a lot. She's going to be graduating college this year, and she's the oldest daughter, and, puts so much pressure on herself that I don't ever need to, because she, and I feel like I do this too. I'm the only child. I'm not the eldest daughter, but I was having some sort of talk with my ex last week, and I just said to him, like, I'm like, I don't ever need you to give me shit, because if it's about our kids, I am no doubt giving myself the most shit. Like, I don't ever need anyone to be critical of me, because I can guarantee anything that you're going to critique me on is something that I've already beat myself up about. That's just who I am. And that's why I have to tackle these negative thoughts that I have. And that's why I have to have the best mindset. And it's why I have to prioritize my mental health every single day, because I can be the worst to myself. I've been the worst to myself. I don't need anybody to do it for me. And so I think, I relate to my daughter in those ways of, she pushes herself, and she, wants, the best for herself. And, she's like agonizing over this chemistry class that she's taking. She didn't need to take it. She's like lost so much sleep over it this semester, and she might finish with a C, which to her is like the end of the world. And I'm like, Kaylin, no one looks at your fucking college GPA. They may look at it one time, but that's it. Nobody cares if you got a C in chemistry. Like, what the fuck? But I think that, part of what's important to me is that I explain these things to my kids so that they know that I just want them to be happy and to follow their own path, and to not just be caught up in the whirlwind of, this is what you do. This is, and I hate the educational system and how they push this on kids. Like, every step is means that it's going to be to the next step. And like, to me, if we're not celebrating and recognizing and enjoying the right here, right now, and also trusting in our ability to know when and if and how to take our next step, and that the next step doesn't have to be a 4-year degree. A lot of fucking kids, like my son is a junior in high school. I don't know that college is the right choice for him. I know that whatever messages he sent out in the world might be pushing him to that, but I do my best as his mom to be like, that is not necessarily the next best step for you. Anyone can choose what their next best step is. And if school is not your jam, there's trade schools. There's community colleges that offer you classes for free. In Connecticut, you can go to school for 2 years for free to get your associates, to figure out if college courses are what's up for you. There are so many different paths to take. Entrepreneurship. I mean, I wish someone when I was little was like, you don't have to work for someone. I don't know that I would have been inspired to start my own business back then, but it would have been really cool to hear that as an option, right? Like, it's not just this one fucking path. And then you go to college and you meet your soulmate and you get married and you start popping out babies and you buy a house. That's one thing. Like, I don't, and again, like talking about like regrets or, you know, woulda, coulda, shoulda. If someone had told me like you don't have to rent or you don't have to buy a house, you can rent for forever. I don't know that I would have necessarily been like, that's the path for me. But I mean, I think for so long, I've heard like, you need to buy a house because if you're renting, you're wasting your money. 45-year-old Melissa now is like, I don't give a flying fuck. I have a broken sink, a broken dishwasher, a broken toilet. What I would give to call a landlord and be like, come fix this shit. I don't care if I'm paying a little bit more. I don't care if I'm not like investing. And I know that this might be like taboo to some people who are listening, but this is why this podcast exists. And this is why I feel so compelled to share my journey, because my journey may not sound like anyone else's journey that you are around. And I feel like that's freeing for some people to know you don't have to own a home. If you're not going to take pride in home ownership, or you're not somebody who's handy, or you're not somebody who prioritizes doing things around the house like some homeowners do, maybe home ownership is not for you. It's not for me. I can say that now confidently at 45 years old. I don't regret these things that I made, the choices that I've made, because they've led me to this place. But how powerful would it have been in my teens to hear like, this is not the only way that you have to be, right? Now I'm sort of stuck in this home with these 3 dogs, but I know this in my future that I don't love to own a home. It's not my jam. I don't like to take care of a home. I love to rent. I would love to pay a check. Tucker lives in an apartment and I'm often like, I wish I could just trade places with you, where I could just call someone and say, and yes, I know that there are some shitty landlords. It might take them a little bit longer to fix it, but I know they're going to be faster than I am. I know this toilet downstairs, we haven't had a working toilet downstairs in like 6 months because I prioritize marathon training and music bingo. So, I mean, I don't know. I think that the number one thing that I would tell little Melissa in her 20s is to trust the process, to know that you have what it takes to be successful as long as you keep growing and you keep saying yes to opportunities and you keep challenging yourself. Do I wish she started running a little bit earlier? Sure. But again, that wasn't my journey. And I think that being on your own journey and trusting yourself, there's just nothing better than that. And also, I guess the other thing that is important to know in your 20s is that it keeps getting better. There's something about aging that people really talk down about. And, you know, that's one thing that I've learned every single age that I've become is I feel more free and I feel more me and I feel more able to be me and more confident in my ability to make the decisions that are right for me and only me, even if they make no sense to anyone else, right? The people who are listening who are like, no, that's stupid. Homeownership is for everyone. Not for me. And you just can't convince me otherwise. You just can't. I was walking at the Big E when the Big E was happening this fall. And I was walking by one of those booths that is, the guy was like, hey, here's a free pen. And I was like, oh, thanks for the pen. And he was like, just tell me, what's the one thing you wish you could do to your home? And I was like, I would fucking sell it in a second and rent. And the guy was like, okay. Maybe that's not for you. That's okay. We can all be different. We can all have our own paths. We can all have our own journeys. And it's okay to do that. And I think that, you know, when you're out in the world and having conversations with people and people have differing views, differing opinions, I think just hear them, listen to them, listen to the opinions of others, and maybe you don't have to make a decision on how that's going to impact you or what steps you're going to take because of that information. But I think it's so cool to share experiences and share differing opinions. And that's why, I mean, if I had a 26-year-old message that to me and say, what would you have told 26-year-old me? Or what would you tell me now, being that you're 45? Like, how fucking lucky am I to be in this position where I can tell you the weird shit that normal 45-year-olds are not going to tell you. A lot of 45-year-olds are not going to tell you to have fun every single week. They're going to tell you to tackle your to-do list. They're going to tell you to take care of your house. I'm going to tell you no. I'm going to tell you to do exactly what you feel compelled to do. And if you need to prioritize your home shit, joy over your home shit, I'm going to choose that. And I'm going to tell you to do that. So, I mean, I guess just being mature. That's another. Be okay being a kid. Being okay not going with the grain. At this point of my life, if everyone is going to the right, I'm like, what is happening that way? I might need to go to the left. And I mean that in more ways than one. But seriously, like if everyone is doing something, if everyone is having cookie swaps this weekend, I don't want to have a fucking cookie swap. I want to go run in the woods and take fireball shots. I don't know. I think I'm going off topic, but hopefully you get my point. I hope this episode was helpful to you. And I hope that you always just find your own path. I don't care how old you are. It's never too late to be like, no, this isn't right for me. And I want you to trust yourself. Even if everyone is doing one thing, you can do the other. And don't even just do the other, but be fucking loud about it. So that everyone else who's watching you, everyone else who's like, ooh, they're not doing it the right way, that they feel compelled to do things the wrong way too. Because we need more people to say, fuck this institution of marriage. Fuck this institution that tells me that I have to have fucking kids and I don't want to. Fuck, I don't have to buy a fucking house. I can live in a tiny home rented on my ex-husband's property. I don't know where that came from. I'm unhinged at this point, but I'm excited for Thanksgiving. I'm so ready to get done with this work day and get to all the fun things. There's Glow Music Bingo tonight. If you are interested in hopping in one of my one-on-one sessions, I would love to have you message me. I don't even have a Google form with the new information because it just came out yesterday. It just came out of my brain and I couldn't stop it. And, I just appreciate you so much. I love this podcast. I cannot believe that it's almost the end of season 3. And it makes me the happiest. I received a message the other day from one of my friends who has been on the podcast before. And she was like, I'm thinking of starting a podcast. I love those messages. I get them fairly frequently where people are like, I want to try this. What would you recommend? And, it always is just embrace it imperfectly and just start. It doesn't have to be perfect. Remember, guys, like it took me so many months to buy the right microphone. And even I still bought the wrong microphone, first of all, because I'm Melissa, and it's sitting in the other room. I haven't used it in probably over a year because now I record on this app and it's very imperfect. I'm in my fucking dining room, and if I ever waited to do things because it needed to be perfect, I would do half the shit that I've done. And, I am so grateful that you guys are out here telling me that you appreciate it. And, thank you so much. Rachel Burley, she won the giveaway. I finally mailed her shirt and she got it. And I'm so grateful for that. And just filled with gratitude on this Thanksgiving week. And I appreciate you so much. If this episode spoke out to you, screenshot it, send it, or tag me in your stories, send it to a friend, send it to a 26-year-old. Who knows how it could change their life. Mwah! Love you guys. Don't leave yet. I literally recorded that podcast episode, got in the shower, and I was like, holy fuck, I missed a huge chunk of what I would say to younger me. Younger me. This is 100% what I would tell a younger version of Melissa or anyone in their 20s is make your own fucking money. Do not rely on a man to support you. or anyone. Don't rely on anyone to support you. Make your own money. Yes, you can. Yes, you're capable. Yes, you can. And also have your own bank account. I cannot tell you, like, so when I married Tucker, we did share a joint bank account for years. And, you know, I think if we had to talk about people being controlling with money, it wasn't Tucker that controlled my money. It was me that controlled Tucker's money. And it interfered in so many facets of our relationship. I don't need, nor should I need to know every single cent that my spouse is spending. And no one should have to know that about you either. Make your own money, keep your own bank account. Just because your parents had a joint bank account and your mom wrote all the checks out and your dad made all the money does not mean that that is how you should live your life. Always, always have access to your own money. Always, always make sure that you have an income stream. I mean, even like it breaks my heart when there's stay-at-home moms who don't have their own income. Even if you have the greatest husband in the whole world, you know, it's so important that you have access to your own money and you're being compensated for the work that you do. I would even go further and say that if you are a stay-at-home mom and you're walking into that situation now as a 20-something, get paid for that shit. That is a paid job that you should be getting paid for. So there should be nothing that you don't have access to money. You should always have access to your own money. So just my little 2 cents. That is definitely something that I would share with any younger something, especially younger Melissa, because I don't know that I would have even understood that as a 20 something. But it's definitely something that I could have benefited from. And it's something that I learned through the years. Again, part of my journey was to understand that I could be successful and I could make my own money. So make sure you do that. Love you guys. Mwah!